my friends. Happy Monday. I don't have glasses. I lost my glasses, so I can't see the screen that well. Oh, I forgot to get out bacon. If you're watching live, comment hashtag gas engine. Because we're making beans today. As though my house doesn't have enough gas in it. Let's add some. I'm looking at you. Good morning. Are you there? Huh?
Husbands always get blamed.
Well, who's the one in this house that could power the subdivision? It's not KJ.
Dog.
Good morning. We're making beans, Shirley. We're making good old northern beans. Boston baked, to be exact. Who here has Boston baked beans? Listen, everybody has been to the potluck. Okay, let me just explain a little bit. When you're from the north, okay, the Northeast in particular, if you go to a potluck and they have pale, giant beans, you're like, this person doesn't know how to make beans. People, I'm sorry, I mean it. People in the South also are not very great at making beans. I said it, don't block me, okay? In the Northeast, we call them Boston baked beans because they're not the same as the big fat, pasty, tomatoey beans. That's not how you make beans. I'm sorry, all you boring bean lovers, but that is not how it's done. How do you guys make Boston beans here? Or do you make tomato based? Like they're pale and they look sickly and they're the big fat beans, which I unfortunately have. I made a mistake and bought the wrong beans. These are not appropriate baked beans. Okay. These are Great Northern beans. They're not the right beans for baking beans. They're not. If you go to a potluck and the person has used these, they don't know what they're doing. No. Tilson said maybe that's what they like. Well, it's because they haven't had Boston baked beans. Once you've had Boston baked beans, you never go back. So, all right, these are Great Northern beans. They're big and fat. I bought the wrong ones. Actually, I bought the right ones. Jamie, I prefer my beans in a cupcake. I bought the right ones and then let them soak Friday night. And then my goal was to put all the ingredients in for them to bake and we eat them Saturday night. But I forgot that they were in the crock pot and they sat there all night again. And yesterday morning they were all slimy because I accidentally I had a recipe in there for this that I was going to show you guys. It was my Nana's recipe. I don't know what I did with it somewhere. So Great Northern beans are not the right beans to use, just so you know. It's navy beans. It has to be navy. Has to be navy. But you put your beans in your crock pot and you cover them with 2 to 3 inches of water and you just leave them all night. That's right, Meredith. This is going to provide enough energy for the movement challenge today. Everybody needs beans because if you're in coaching, you're competing to win a Ninja Creamy. So get your butts moving. Make some beans. You'll have the energy to compete and win a Ninja Creamy. If you're not in coaching, well, you're not going to win a Ninja Creamy now, are you? But you can go to my website and enter the drawing to win a bag of essentials and a tub of the fountain, canister, whatever, container. Woo! Those are strong, baby. All right, 1 yellow onion. Right. It has to be navy beans, but I screwed up. Woo! I screwed up, bought Great Northern, and I soaked Great Northern, and so it is what it is. Okay, 1 onion in the pan. You can leave it whole. Oh my goodness. Let's burn, baby, burn. 1 onion in the pan. In the pot. Let's just bring the pot over here. That's a strong onion. All right. And then a lot of people use salt pork, and you can use salt pork in Boston baked beans. That's fine. But I use bacon. These will be a crossover. They don't have to be. You can leave the bacon out, but then they're not going to be any good. So they'll be a crossover because I've got to have bacon in my beans. Oh my gosh, my eyes are burning. You could use turkey bacon if you live a sad life, but I wouldn't recommend it. I just take a whole pound of bacon, okay? And I cut it into small chunks, about each small strips, the whole pound, about this wide, so that when I drop it in, it gets broken up into small pieces and it gets really, really, really well cooked. You could use minced dry onion, but you'd want to use a lot, Rita, because you need the onion flavor in Boston baked beans. You need it. It's important. Onion, like they're not gonna, Boston baked beans should have lots and lots of flavor. Now, a lot of people put like a bay leaf. I don't think I have any. A lot of people put oregano. I'm putting no oregano in my beans. No. A lot of people put like garlic. I don't do that. Boston baked beans don't. Yes, I agree, Faith. I should have come up with a recipe for that. Brown bread in a can. Has anybody here had brown bread in a can? It is the best thing ever. Okay. Man, I wish I'd thought of that, Faith. Maybe I could figure out how to do that on plan and we could do that tomorrow. I don't know if I could figure out how to do that. You've never had it, Shirley? Oh, you guys, if you have not had brown bread in a can, I'm not advising you to try it because it's not on plan, but I'm telling you, it is delicious with beans. It's a molasses bread, and you just open the can, poke a hole in the other end, slide the loaf out. You can warm it up or eat it cold. You just slice it. You can toast it. You can grill it. You can just eat it straight out of the can. So good. So good. Do you like brown bread in a can, Tulsi? You ever had it? I just got the face, so I'm gonna. All right, put your whole pound of bacon in there. Oh, I just dropped a cup of bacon. That doesn't make me happy. You haven't heard of it either? No, it's not a coffee can. It's a bean can, and it looks just like a can of beans, except it's got bread on the outside. Oh my gosh, I need to find a recipe or, figure out how to make a recipe. All right, molasses, critical component. Don't be putting a teaspoon of molasses. There's recipes out there that are like 1 teaspoon. Don't be putting a teaspoon of molasses. You need a quarter cup minimum, okay? And a quarter cup is fine. That's like a teaspoon of serving, but you need at least a quarter cup of molasses, and then you need about a tablespoon of dry mustard. You can use liquid, but wet mustard, and then you need salt. And a lot of people put pepper, but Tilson's a weenie. He doesn't like pepper. So 1 tablespoon-ish of salt. That's not quite enough. That wasn't quite a tablespoon, but I'm out of my mineral salt. So you've got to have salt. Even though it's got bacon, you still need the salt. All right. What else? I don't put garlic in my beans. I don't put no tomato nonsense in my beans. This is it, I think. I'm probably missing something, but I don't know where my recipe is. It may need a little more molasses than that. It's really okay. Oh, brown sugar. I forgot my brown sugar. You gotta have brown sugar. I knew there was something I was missing. About a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We just use brown swerve in this house. I use it all the time. The family eats it all the time. That's right, Linda. All right. Swerve. You guys eat brown swerve all the time. Anytime I use brown sugar, I use brown swerve. Tastes just like green sugar. All right. That's it. Should have reserved a little bit of the bean juice. Didn't. So I have to add a little bit of water. You can use chicken stock too. Put them on high. It's usually on high. It's about 4 to 5 hours. Use your reserved bean water from the soaking. I forgot it. Like a 1/2 cup or so. And you can always add more liquid as they cook. If you need to add more liquid, you can. But these, when they're done, will be tender and dark brown. They have to be dark brown. Yeah, you could totally use broth. I just don't have any. I'm all out. Where's my cover? Right here. All right. There we go. That's it. That's Boston baked beans. Let them cook. They're good in the oven too. If you do them in the oven, it's like 325 for 4 or 5 hours in a pot. It completely depends on the weather outside, how long these take to cook. That's why I always start them in the morning, because sometimes they will take 8 hours and sometimes they'll take 4. You don't want to overcook them. You want them to be a dark brown and tender to the bite. If you overcook them, then they become stuck together mush. Right, Shelly? How dare I? So yeah, that's it. That's Boston baked beans. That's deliciousness in a pot. And then you have to eat them with hot dogs. It's the rules. I have red hot dogs here, and I also have Nathan's all beef. I like them with red, but I would probably use Nathan's all beef because of the red dye. I try to avoid it with Marin. So that's it. We'll fry up the hot dogs with some onions, have it on the side of the baked beans. And maybe tomorrow, I'm not going to promise, but I will look. I don't have rye or cornmeal or anything like that, Mary, but I'll look and see if I can figure out a brown bread, how to make brown bread in a can. It's delicious. Yes. I use about 1/2 cup to a cup. Hannah, I start out with less liquid and add it if I need it, because I don't want them being soupy. So I will cook them on high, because like I said, sometimes the weather outside, for whatever reason, they won't cook. I don't understand the whole. And things down in the south cook very different than things in the north. It's taken me a little bit of getting used to. Things down here cook very different. So I don't know how long these are going to take. I will start checking them about 1 o'clock at 4 hours and see where they're at. Stir them a bunch of times, see what they look like. They should be dark brown and they should be a tender bite. Like baked beans. They should be the texture of baked beans. But you don't want to overcook them and get them mushy, although I'll still eat them that way. You don't want them pasty. So I want them nice, dark brown though. They should be dark. And if I find that at like 3, or if I find it like 4 to 5 hours, they're cooked, but they're not dark enough for me, I'll add some more molasses to darken them up. Because that's the thing about Boston baked beans, is they're sweet. So you definitely want to anchor these in protein, and you don't, the thing about Boston baked beans, they're very, very sweet. So they have a lot of molasses. So you don't need a huge bowl with your hot dogs. You can, it's hard not to eat a huge bowl, but you can suffice with a cup to a cup and a half in a serving. And then have a salad on the side, because that goes well with beans. Everybody likes a big old salad with their beans. Get your veggies in. It is. It's so different, Hannah. It's so different to me. Down here is very different than cooking in the north, too. It's very, very different. I don't fully understand it. I haven't figured out if it means I need to cook more or less, but the humidity down here is crazy, even when it's cold out. So everything cooks different. So these are very at high risk to get mushy. So All right, my friends, thanks for joining me. Check out the link at the top of this post if you want to join me in January. It's Pay What You Can January. If you've ever wanted to try coaching, this is your opportunity. Pay what you can. Make sure if you're in coaching, tell your friends that January is a month to try out coaching. And if you can put aside your struggles and jump into coaching and fully immerse yourself in coaching for 1 month, your year is going to be different next year. Because if you can go 30 days on plan for the month of January, we're calling it Sweet Surrender. If you can go 30 days on plan, you are going to set yourself up for an amazingly successful year, because 30 days will change your life. I'm telling you right now, 30 days without the junk will change your life. And we start that January 1st, and it's Pay What You Can. So come and join us in January, and we'll get you on track for the rest of the year. All right. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing day. Make sure you sign up for the giveaway. Make sure you sign up for the free cooking class coming this Saturday. We're going to make toasted coconut eggs.